Now, the UAE has long been a melting pot of nationalities, with expats from all over the world calling the Emirates home. But nowadays, there is increasing interest in true Emirati culture and heritage, and that includes traditional cuisine, as Lucy Taylor finds out.
If you're a fan of international flavours, the UAE is undoubtedly the place to be. With its multicultural society and booming tourism industry, the country's welcomed restaurants serving top-notch nosh from all over the globe, from Italian pizzas and Japanese sushi to British pies and Spanish tapas. But strangely, the one cuisine there hasn't been much call for over the past decade is that of the UAE itself. There are, it seems, many reasons for this scarcity of traditional food, not least the modern international image the Emirates has overseas.
I think the main reason is traditionally the Emirati food has been cooked at home. There was no need for restaurants in the past. We had what we call traditional kitchens that cook in big quantities for events, weddings, and things of the sort. But no one has went out and created a business out of it and shared it with the world. It was a very home thing. Hence, people didn't get introduced to it a lot. So I think that's the main reason.
But this lack of interest in the UAE's food heritage appears to be changing, with a raft of new initiatives aiming to educate both expats and tourists about the country's culinary identity.
Many of them just arrive like they have with a view of like tall buildings with the lifts and everything. But when they actually arrive in our guest house, if you see the comments on TripAdvisor and many other websites, you will see that they have put such a beautiful comments like, oh, that's a traditionally designed heritage culture. We never thought that we will have the experience of such things here. And perfect. Oh, we are getting very good response towards it. And yes, we are very proud of our guest house, and which is a very traditional thing for us.
Well, there are a couple of very interesting changes that happened. Number one is the non-Emiratis that have lived here for such a long time have finally started to become curious about what Emirati culture is, what Emirati food is, and they've been going around looking for it and asking about it. And the momentum has been growing over the past few years. Hence, people saw there was a demand for it. Now that brings me to the other big reason, which is the Emiratis themselves. I think they've become more open to sharing their culture. Not just more open, but actually very proactive in sharing the culture. So I refer to Emiratis as they, but I think I should refer to Emiratis as us. So we've become much more proactive at sharing our culture. And the best way, I think, to share a culture is through food.
And new website barza.ae is helping to further this awareness through easy-to-access information.
Barza.ae is an online, Emirati online food directory, right? The idea was to introduce people, especially expats living in the UAE, to Emirati food. When we were doing our research, we realized that a lot of people just didn't realize that the UAE had the cuisine to start with, or confused it with Lebanese or Indian. And some of them that did have an idea about Emirati food, they were just sort of maybe afraid to try it out because it's just so new to them. So we thought, let's start this website, right? Put on the pictures, show them what Emirati food looks like, and then explain to them sort of the ingredients that go in there to sort of break that barrier and help them, make it easier for them to try it out.
Today, the trend towards local cuisine and celebrating local heritage through food is spreading to the nation's hotels as well. Barjeel Heritage Guest House, located alongside the picturesque Dubai Creek, is one of the properties involved in this change. Their menu reflects various authentic Emirati elements, including a traditional UAE breakfast showcasing specialities from saffron pancakes to homemade cheese.
Our ever-popular Emirati breakfast platter consists of ragag bread with cream cheese, egg malavich, pancake, fried egg with dates, and cheese samosa, lokmat. And to go along with us, we have accompaniments such as dates, date syrup, honey, full madamas, chickpeas plain, and salsa sauce. And to finalize it, we have Arabic tea, coffee, or orange juice. We offer this in the Emirati breakfast.
Other authentic outlets in the UAE are also starting to make a name for themselves, and the team at Buzz.ae believe this is only the start.
First of all, in the UAE, there should be more restaurants serving Emirati food, right? And there is a trend, and I think it's growing. People have noticed that there is a gap and there's a need, and they're definitely sort of filling that need. There are definitely more restaurants coming into the market. Globally, our dream was always to have the UAE cuisine, the Emirati food, right, recognized like any other cuisine. It's like Italian or Indian or Japanese, right? I mean, you can eat sushi anywhere in the world. Why can't you have brigimat or like balalit or anything like that? So hopefully it becomes such a staple of a cuisine that, I don't know, it spreads globally and it's accessible everywhere.
The hunger for authentic Emirati food looks set to grow, and with it the country will not only be serving up some smashing suppers, but also showcasing a delicious slice of the country's heritage. This is Lucy Taylor for UAE Weekly.